Hello, it's Rebecca of Inspiring Your Shine podcast, and I am here today to talk about social selling tips. I help network marketers to build influence online so that you can make more income. I hope you're doing well, and let's get into this social selling tips. All right, so first of all, you may or may not realize that my definition of social selling is leveraging your social media to build relationship with your customers, and particularly potential customers, as you bring people in that don't know you and you want to give them an opportunity to know you. But then you're also going to use it to inspire and nurture the customers that you have. And that is just the social selling part of your social media. So of course, we have the social part of our social media with people that we already know, that's already in our warm market, but we can really leverage what we're already doing on social media to help grow our businesses. And so that's the vein that we're looking through it, and that is my definition of social selling. But we have to remember that social selling is 95% relationship building and only 5% of selling. And this is very important, and there are definitely people out there that do an incredible job of this, and I want to just share some of the things that they do that can help you to make sure that you're aligning with these, and potentially you already are. So basically, what I'm going to be talking about when it comes to social selling is it's about showing up and posting. And so we want to be posting on our social media regularly, and we want to do it really daily, and potentially, if you're really hitting it hard, 2 times a day. If you're really in a growth mode, 2 times a day. So you want to be posting regularly. And then you want to make sure that you are doing some online networking to continue to grow your potentials and your list at all times. That's going to be in a separate video of exactly what you can do to do some online networking, some things that you've probably never heard before that I've been learning. And then the next one is all about ultimately you're posting and you're networking because you really want to build influence in your niche. You want to become the go-to person that people want to pay attention to you because of what you bring and what you are doing, what you have to offer. You want to be influential. And so that is what we're working toward. That's the end goal. It doesn't happen overnight, but when we're showing up and we're posting and we're regularly bringing new people into the fold and we're doing a really good job of what I'm going to be showing you, then you can definitely build influence. So first of all, we want to make sure that when we are posting that we are giving value-driven content, that it's either entertaining or somehow informative. I understand that it's been a very political time, but we want to make sure that we are really giving people good stuff that they want to read. You know what? Everybody else is posting about all the other crazy things in the world, and unless it particularly is impacting you as a person and it's a part of your brand, I would recommend really trying to flood your feed with really great, positive, interesting things, because people are going to tune in because they're hearing it from all sides, all the other negative things. So you can be that source of happiness for them. So make sure that it's value driven. And that means that you are not just posting all the time about what you have to offer in a very blatant way. Now, I'm going to share with you that you can do this through stories, and that comes across a lot different. Then the next thing is you need to mix it up. So it can't be all you posting about your product and business, and that's all you really ever come on to talk about. And here's a before and after, and the people that have feeds like that, right? Well, eventually people are going to be like, all they do is advertise. I'm not interested. Or even if I'm interested, I don't want to see that all the time. And so they will tune out. So we want to make sure that we have a nice mix of like our personal life, the things that we're passionate about, the things that we love to talk about, and then we mix it in with business. So really, you should be posting about your business maybe 2 times a week, and the other 3 times are other interesting things that you know your audience would be interested in, and you're interested in it, because you're going to attract people that are like you. And that's good, because you want to work with people that have similar interests to you, right? It makes it easier. Then the next thing is make sure that you're being helpful. when you're posting things, how is it helpful? How is it going to make them laugh? Is it going to entertain them? Is it going to inspire them? Is it helpful because it's something that maybe is around your niche, but it's supporting your niche, that that people that follow you, if they're interested in what you have to offer, that they would also be interested in other things that kind of support what you do. And so, for instance, if you're a health person, then you can talk about things like, drinking water or healthy recipes, even though that may not have exactly to do with your product. And so we want to support them and be helpful. Then we want to definitely make sure that we're creating conversations. So this is when you're posting, you want to make sure that you are posting in a way that you are engaging them in the conversation. So you're not just talking at them. And this was something that I've really had to work at. And I learned from Jasmine Star. So if you do not follow Jasmine Star, definitely follow her. She's brilliant. I'm part of her social curator. She's wonderful at creating relationship and conversations, because you want people to feel like you are creating a conversation with them and that they can engage. So that means that you ask an engaging question. If you're talking about something that's about you or your experience, or something that's kind of around about your product or your business, then you want to try to turn it back to them at the end and say, well, why don't you tell me about a story that you've had, or somewhere you've traveled, or what are you got going on? What are you excited about this summer? Like, whatever you're talking about, try to turn it into some kind of an engaging question to create conversation. And the other way that I want to encourage you to engage is make sure that when people comment on your stuff, you're commenting back to them. And not only commenting back to them, but you can try to think about, how can I take this conversation deeper? Just like if you were in person with somebody, if you said something to them and they said something back to you, and then you said something back, then usually that conversation keeps going, because the other person will then make another comment or they'll ask a question. And so we want to keep commenting back and forth, right? Because we want to keep that conversation going, and the algorithm loves that. So that's really good for what we're doing on our social. Is make sure that you are sharing stories and not just facts. Now I'm going to be doing a separate video about some ideas for you of the stories that you can create, and really creating a collection of stories that you can then share. And the way that you want to share things is always in a story format. Like, take them on a journey with you. Share with them something that happened to you personally, or you can share somebody else's story. But people love stories. Today, I got dragged into, it just was the next video that popped up, and it was a girl doing her makeup as she told a story. And guess what? I watched the whole thing because I wanted to know how the story ended. So people are very drawn in by stories. So these are great to do, of course, on live, but it is really good to even do in text. People love stories of funny things that happen to you, of serious things that happen to you, even sharing some struggles, as long as you're doing it through the vein of, I've now overcome this and you can too, and making it encouraging. So tell stories, and I'll have another video about that. And then I want to make sure that you know that, and I've noticed, and I've really followed this, and I've heard it, is that you want a lot of pictures of you. And believe me, this felt so vain to me. I almost couldn't stand, and I felt like riled up at the people that were always showing pictures of themselves. And I was just like, oh, they're so full of themselves. And so I had this belief about, like, if you put pictures of yourself all the time, that you were just about yourself. But actually, we are building relationship, and people want to see you. So make sure that you are including you in your brand. And so that means that you, as just in funny pictures, doing silly things, what I started doing is, and I can do another video about this, about doing the photo shoot, but I started just having my daughter take pictures of me, and whenever I feel cute, and even using the timer on my phone and trying to capture some different pictures of me. I am super awkward in front of the camera, so I've really had to work at this, but it's been fun to get better at it. I'm a little better at getting in front of the camera, especially after a few, like 10 minutes of trying very awkwardly. So people want to see you, so take some great shots of yourself and make sure that you are inserting yourself in things. You can just have a picture of you, then have some great text that's adding value, and people love it. And I have found that when it has me in it, it gets twice the attention. And I've heard that from other people as well. And if you look back at your things, you'll probably see the same thing. So although we love the beautiful sceneries and the flat lays and all of that, you are what they love to see. So you show yourself more. And so the last thing that I want to encourage you is to definitely go live. I had a real fear of going live. I actually, even because I haven't been live for about 3 weeks now, I felt a little nervous even coming on live right now. But going live really helps you to get comfortable in front of the camera, to help you to show up and serve. And so the thing that we need to remember is we are not here for ourselves. We should be here building that relationship, putting our eyes and arrows out toward the people that we serve. And when we show up live and we are here to serve them, then that makes them feel good and empowers them. And we want to do that. So I encourage you to go live. So just to wrap up here, I want you to know that taking time to post and to create your content calendar and really showing up regularly is very worth it. It compounds your efforts, and if you are out there trying to create new relationships online, believe me, they're going to stalk your bio and they're going to come look at your page and see what you've been posting about. And if they like what they see, then they will accept that friend follow request, or if you talk to them and they've kind of checked you out, then they're more likely to respond. So it's going to really do you good in the long term for you to be able to be having a lot of great value-driven content on your feed. It will continue to compound your efforts, I promise. So thank you so much. Remember that social selling is 95% relationship and only 5% selling, and then to be a giver of great value. And I want you to show up, shine bright, and make a difference. Thanks so much for showing up. I appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. Make sure you look below. I will attach some kind of documents, and you can then take those away as notes. Thanks so much.